I made this video because I wanted to create a public record. I want to have a public record exactly of how I feel. I don't want, I will have no control over my death, I know that. But I don't want to be one of those persons wherein people get to write my story and get to create a narrative that makes them look good, that makes them feel good when I die and have no control. I want my narrative to be my narrative, to be how I feel, to be my truth, what I live. And I don't want anyone to tell my story for me. I want to be the person to tell my own story. I want to be the one to say it exactly how it is, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Have you ever wondered how conservative megachurches get so much money? Yeah, there's one hidden little trick that they do that blow your mind. One of the things in the membership class is money. They tell you this lie that the Bible tells you that you should give 10% of your income to the church, and if you want to be a member, that's an important part of it. That's an expectation that you would give like 10% of your income to the church, or more if you want to. Everybody's okay with more, and the person teaching that part of the class will likely say they give 10% of their income to the church.
It is good that more people are waking up. It's good that more people are speaking out. And it's good that more people are finally coming to a place where they can realize that they have been sold a great con. They have been sold a con that forces them to settle for less in every aspect of their lives, while the people who are telling them that they need to be humble, they need to be patient, they need to be satisfied, the people telling them this are living just fine.
I think a lot more people would be in church if we didn't figure out that they are just another cog in the wheel of capitalism, a giant machine extracting wealth from the communities that they claim to serve. It's really something to see churches spend so much money, time, and energy trying to distract us from the fact that they are really havens for pedophiles and fraudsters. Pastors constantly shouting, "Look at the gays over there, look at the trans, look at that woman having an abortion." The whole time, they're the ones we should be watching. Not to mention how some church members coalesce around them when their dirty deeds come to light. After being exposed to different religious teachings, I realized that the core messages are the same, which is be a good person and be good to other people. And a lot of religious people, not just Christians, are really not good people, and they are not good to other people.
I 100% believe that a lot of Republican American Christians would have absolutely hated Jesus if he was around today. The Good Samaritan of back then would have been the good Muslim of today. The Mary Magdalene washing Jesus' feet would have been a Mexican immigrant, an illegal one. Yeah.
I think there is a much bigger conversation that needs to be had about the role that women play in upholding the oppressive structures of religion. Women have been instrumental in encouraging other women to subjugate themselves in the service of men.
Hey, did I hear you saying that? Wife, that if your husband cheats, you are going to cheat back. Hey, Mrs. Cheater. Hello, come here. You don't know your responsibility. If you know your responsibility and you know the reason why you married that man, then you will know that you married that man to be his helper. Even if he is a cheater, which means you need to help him in that area, not to join him to cheat.
Notice how this conversation went from, okay, don't cheat, which is really good advice. Like if somebody cheats on you, you don't have to cheat back. That's good advice. And then it quickly went from there to, you must be the help and the guide for a grown man. You must basically turn into his mother to lead him onto the right path.
So 2018, when my husband and I first separated, once we got back.
And then this woman whose husband left her while pregnant started a whole other relationship. And she's saying God saved her marriage. God brought her husband back after he ignored her for the entire pregnancy, went on vacations with his new girlfriend, and then finally came back to her. It's women whose job it is to encourage other women to suffer infidelity, right? To suffer through financial abuse, to suffer through physical abuse, to suffer all this, because sufferation is a part of the whole journey of subscribing to whatever faith it is that you practice. You know, it is the endurance, it's the patience, it's the forgiveness, another word I hate, that is going to take you and prepare you for that reward that's waiting at the end.
Religious people who need religion to have morals can't fathom how irreligious people can have morals without being instructed to.
I agree to some extent that religion can be a moral guide for some people, but you don't need it to practice right from wrong. I mean, you only need a basic understanding of what's right, what's wrong, and then do it or don't do it. That's basically it. And I feel that religious people struggle with understanding how other people regulate their morals because they struggle to regulate their morals. And I guess it's hard for a lot of religious people, and they need to have that big stick from the Bible telling them don't do this and don't do that, or else they fall apart. And I think what it does is it gives Christians an out. Christians especially, because I don't have in-depth knowledge of other religions, but it gives them an out to say God is in control, or the devil made me do it, and so they don't take responsibility for their own actions, right? They don't take responsibility for the things they do because nothing is in their hands. Everything is being controlled by somebody else. It's either being controlled by God or the devil made me do it. There's no in between.
You know that deep down you don't really believe any of this, and that's why you struggle every day to live by the very rules that you use to judge the rest of us. You struggle to show empathy to the people around you. You struggle in general just to be decent human beings to people who don't share your beliefs. You're bothered by people like me talking on these issues and asking questions because you've asked those same questions. You have the doubts in your mind, but you're holding on to this just in case. Just in case it turns out to be true.
So there's this thing called Pascal's Wager, and it's basically, okay, you can't prove that God is not real, but you can't disprove that he is real. So why don't you, or it's better to just go along with it, because what if in the end he's real, then there's nothing you can do about it. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. But that's why a lot of people are so-called followers, because they're operating on this wager. They're operating on this wager of just in case. Just in case it's real. Just in case all of this is being controlled by some great big wand in the sky. Just in case everything turns out to be exactly how it was taught to me, then I have a fail safe. But I think what that does is one, for some people, it restricts them from living a full life that they could live were they not shackled by this burden of always having to prove themselves to get to some magical place. The other thing is that a lot of them don't really believe it. A lot of them do not believe any of these things. Many of the pastors who preach don't believe it, and many of the people who keep trying to shove it down other people's throat don't really believe it. You know, they just have something they want to prove, and it gives them some kind of belonging. It makes them feel important. It gives them purpose. Otherwise, outside of religion, they have no purpose. And for many people, that's just the reason why they're in it. It's not that they really believe, it's that this is what they know. They know nothing else. And because they know nothing else, they just go along with what they know.
None of this makes sense. Organized religion does not make sense. What organized religion does is it teaches people how to be obedient without question. And you need people to be obedient without question to ensure that
whatever structures and systems you have in place, you want to put in place, you will get less resistance.
All alive. The devil's in the detail, lingered inside. Oh, a holy crime. But how can I hide you without an alibi? It's a rebel's fight without an alibi.
I think that it's good that more people are waking up and speaking out and accepting that they have been sold down the river, and it's full time to unshackle themselves and free themselves from what has been a really deep indoctrination that has lasted for centuries. And it's time to not just unshackle ourselves, but unshackle future generations.